What's going on, YouTube? World's quickest lesson here. I just want to talk to you about tremolo picking here and about. I think I've done a couple lessons on it, and I haven't even really known what to call it. And I believe it's called tremolo picking. And what this technique really is just picking so fast that you're picking in a way that you're not really even at this point playing like 16th notes, or I guess it would be like 32nd notes when you're playing super fast. 64th. I don't know how many times you can divide a beat or measure, or you right. I don't know how much you can chop that up and still call it like a time signature is what I'm getting at. So I believe, this is my understanding. I haven't even looked this up, so just so you know, anyone who wants to fact check me on any of this, please do. I may not even end up posting it if I find out this is all wrong. But anyway, my assumption here is that the tremolo picking is when you're picking so fast that it's really indistinguishable from like a time signature, right? So just to get into it here, I want to just talk a little bit about the technique of it, and then a little bit about the application of it, and when you would do it, right? So, which I probably did a horrible example of with my examples, but I really just took the two of the backing tracks that I had in my looper that I'm doing for other lessons and tried to just jam a little bit and then throw in a little tremolo picking, right? Cool. So let's get into how I do it, how I like to do it. First of all, I'm definitely in my room and not playing loud enough. The louder you are, I feel, the easier it is. Now, you don't want to be too loud that you're louder than the mix, but if you're so quiet, and I almost am right now, where you can hear it acoustically on the guitar and not strictly from the amplifier, it's going to change your feel a little bit. Same thing with if you're too loud. If you're too loud and can't dig in a little bit, then you're also not really going to be able to get the right feel. That happens to a lot of guys, I think, when they're in a band context. That's why I like to use a buffered volume pedal, is so that I can always be at that perfect mix on stage. Not necessarily that I care about what the crowd's hearing, because ideally there's a sound man who's taking care of the front of house, right? But you want this. I want my feel on stage to be as close to, if I'm like sitting here with it dialed in perfectly, right? So to do that, I like to use a volume pedal and get it right to where my touch is correct, because this is the prime example of a technique and a time when it's imperative that your touch is correct, because it's really just about that, right? Does not matter what you're playing really at all with this technique. And in the examples, I'm using mostly minor pentatonic moves because my brain's going to think fast in minor pentatonic. There's going to be larger interval jumps, so I go with that a lot when I'm doing this. I do also go through it in like the modes and different scales when I'm doing like the Santana kind of vibe. So there's all sorts of note selection routes you can go with this. As far as the technique of it, I'm really coming up on my pick, and I've gone through this with you guys a couple times, but just really pinching up on the pick. Obviously, if some of you guys like it back like this, that's totally cool, but for this technique, I find it helpful to really get up there on the way you're holding the pick. I like to kind of rest my palm a little bit on my bridge, but not get in the way where it's going to mute out the notes at all, but just to kind of support. And then you got to just practice your up and down picking, and really you want to start it, you can start it going slow and then pick it up, pick it up, and then tremolo. Now to tremolo, I'm going to come up here a little bit. You see how I moved my hand? My hand just kind of naturally started coming up when and that's what I was talking about, breaking up the time increments. You hear how you can go. Then that's when you get into tremolo picking, when you can't divide it like anymore, right? So once you get to that point, practice it, and then try to cut that in half. Then try to cut that in half. Then try to cut that in half. And then once you get to that speed, I don't think you can then Now let's talk about that. That's a really cool trick to use with the tremolo picking, right? Which I didn't throw that. Maybe I'll cut one of those in and put that in the intro. But that's a really cool trick, is to ascend, hit a cool landing spot, which leads me into trick number 2 that I love with tremolo picking, and that's just to hammer on pull off on another note in the scale. So you can combine those 2 moves, tremolo pick up to a landing spot. So let's say we're in G, come up here to the 15th fret. You know, get creative with how you're doing it down there, right? Once you're into that idea there, as you can see, I was doing kind of different note combinations and different things there, and you can, I mean, it's, the possibilities are endless, literally, right? And when you're crescendoing, especially in a band type of context or a jam context, even playing over a jam track that builds in intensity, this is a great way to build intensity with it, because we all know that, you know, dynamics is really what makes music so moving, right, emotionally. So you know, being able to match the dynamics of what's going on around you as a guitar player is probably, to me, maybe the number 1 most important aspect of playing guitar once you are at even at like an intermediate level, right? So I feel like this is a great tool for that. Also too, with some of those moves here, I'm doing those on the high E string, but that you don't have to restrict yourself, you know, and you can play both string sets. You know, you can play multiple string sets in a lick involving tremolo picking. I'm trying to think, because I know the minute I hit the off button on the camera that something else about this is going to come to mind, because you guys know me, I don't really take notes for these. I just I take notes of what I want to go through, like the different ideas I want to go through with you guys, like the video idea, and that's really it. From there, I just kind of, I don't want to just say wing it, because I do put work into it, but I do try to keep it organic and natural and not be like reading from a script, right? And like someone else pointed out in one of my videos, they were talking when I asked about, should I do the audio and do my vocals, you know, through a condenser mic and headphones and all that, and someone's like, don't, you know, people look silly when they're doing that and like they're trying too hard. So yeah, so you know, I try to keep it loose is what I'm getting at. But yeah, I know I'm going to remember something that I'm forgetting right now. So be it. I want to hopefully just reintroduce, because I know I've brought this, I think I brought this up in my Santana lessons, one of my Santana tips video, but I wanted to just kind of expand on it, show that it can be used in almost any application. I tried to even include like a chicken picking application that used it, just to kind of show you its versatility. There's tens, if not hundreds of other ways to use this I'm probably not thinking of, that I probably do use in my playing, that it's not even coming to mind right now. Did I mention doing it with chords? Right? So I mean this is literally endless, as most of the things I like to introduce to you guys are. I don't like to just say, okay, here's a lick, play this lick in this situation, and that's it. You know, it's good to just have these ideas that shape the way you're thinking about it, just to seep into your everyday playing, right? So, cool. I have definitely gone on way too long about this already. Much love, you guys. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you on the flip. Keep on picking. Love y'all. Later.